Okay, so imagine this. A regular person, way back near the dawn of humanity, walks so closely with God that the line between heaven and earth just blurs.
Right. That's Enoch, an extraordinary figure.
Yeah, and his story supposedly unlocks these cosmic secrets, things even angels didn't fully grasp.
Which is kind of the whole point of what we do here on the Deep Dive, isn't it?
Exactly. Taking these, deep, sometimes really ancient sources and pulling out those key insights, giving you that shortcut to being well informed.
And today, we're really digging into something ancient. It's based on a source one of you sent in the Black and White Bible YouTube channel.
Ah, yes. Their take on the great prophecy of Enoch, the day the heavens will break open.
That's the one. So get ready for, quite a journey into this incredibly old text. But you'll see the themes. They feel surprisingly relevant.
Okay, so Enoch, seventh from Adam. Why him? Why should his story, his prophecies matter to us now?
Well, he lived in a totally different world, pre-flood. But what made him stand out was this intense closeness to God. The texts say he walked with God.
Which wasn't just like a big casual stroll.
Not at all. It meant this deep, inherent righteousness. And that led to this really unique divine calling. He was chosen for visions.
Visions, okay? What kind?
Not just personal spiritual stuff, panoramic views of heaven, the whole cosmic drama unfolding. And interestingly, the source suggests these visions weren't really for his time.
But for a future time, maybe, ours.
Maybe. It talks about God opening Enoch's spiritual eyes, letting him see beyond the physical. Angels were his guides, showing him how the universe actually works.
So this wasn't just, Enoch getting enlightened for himself. There was a bigger mission.
Absolutely. His journeys through these heavenly realms, they weren't just sightseeing.
Right.
He had a specific mission. To be a witness, to see heaven's glory, yes, but also this major rebellion brewing down on earth.
Making him God's messenger, essentially.
Exactly. Tasked with bringing divine truths, warnings, maybe to us.
7 levels of heaven. That sounds intense. What did he actually see up there?
Yeah, the source describes him being guided through these 7 distinct levels, always with guardian angels, importantly, not the fallen ones we'll get to later. And he saw just incredible wonders. God's actual throne room, the storehouses for the winds.
Wait, storehouses for wind?
Yeah, and treasuries of snow and hail. Even the foundations of the universe itself, the actual structure.
It's almost impossible to really picture that. How did he get this information? Was it all symbolic?
That's what's striking the clarity. The angels apparently spoke really plainly, no riddles. They explained the past, present, future.
Wow.
And they revealed that the spiritual realm isn't chaotic. It has fixed laws, just like, physics in our world.
So there's a divine order, a kind of blueprint for everything, even the unseen.
Precisely. And the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, they were key teachers, explaining creation not as just a poof, but this intricate, ongoing symphony of divine power.
Okay. And Earth.
Yeah.
Where did our little planet fit into this huge cosmic picture?
Well, according to this view, Earth was central, really significant in God's design, held firm by these invisible pillars reaching down into the deep.
Pillars, like cosmic supports.
Yeah, showing God's architectural mastery. It wasn't just floating randomly.
And light and darkness, just day and night, or something more.
Deeper. Light was seen as God's holiness, truth. Darkness was the absence of that. A fundamental separation.
You mentioned storehouses of wind. What was the deal with those?
They weren't just random breezes. Each type of wind had a specific job, appointed by God. For blessing, like bringing rain, or sometimes for judgment, precisely controlled forces.
And the sun, moon, stars, more than just clocks and calendars.
Way more. Yes, they mark time and seasons, but the stars themselves were seen as signs. They had a language, a deeper meaning, if you knew how to read it. And this becomes important later because that knowledge gets twisted.
So the heavens weren't empty. They had layers, structure, purpose.
Exactly. Multiple levels. The highest heaven, God's throne, worship. Lower heavens, angels doing their jobs, maintaining creation, cosmic machinery.
And all this points to one big idea.
Yeah, the principle of divine order. Everything and everyone, from angels to, us, has a place, a purpose. And happiness, fulfillment comes from being in that right place.
But this perfect order, it didn't last, did it?
No. It was about to face a massive challenge. A rebellion.
Right, the cosmic drama you mentioned.
Exactly. As Enoch learned about heaven, he also saw something really disturbing happening on earth. These powerful angels, the Watchers, their job was to observe and protect humanity.
Okay.
But they started, well, lusting after human women. The book of Enoch, chapter 6, apparently goes into detail here.
There was a leader, Shemihaza.
Yeah, Shemihaza. And the irony is, his name meant something like, my name is seen, probably because he'd seen God's glory.
Wow.
Yet he became the ringleader in this cosmic betrayal. He was nervous at first, apparently, but the others pushed him.
And they actually made a pact. It wasn't spontaneous.
No, totally deliberate.
Yeah.
200 of these Watchers swore an oath together on Mount Hermon, pledged to go through with it.
Mount Hermon.
Yeah, the source mentions a tradition that the mountain itself sort of shuddered, and it got its name Hermon from that oath harem, meaning curse or ban, a monument to their rebellion.
200. Did they all have specific roles in this plan?
The source names a few. Oratel taught forbidden signs of the earth, probably occult stuff. Armaris revealed how to undo enchantments, manipulative magic.
Okay.
And then Azel, presented as the most corrupting one. Their names reflect this perversion of power, misuse of wisdom.
So it wasn't just about forbidden relationships. It was abandoning their whole purpose.
Exactly. Much deeper. Leaving their posts, rejecting their nature, trying to create this hybrid race totally outside God's plan.
Yeah.
And the consequences. Devastating.
Which leads to the Nephilim, the
It's-
giants.
Yes, the Nephilim, the offspring of these unions, a physical manifestation of this corruption. Their existence itself was an abomination, violating the created order.
And the size. The source mentions numbers, 3,000 ells. That sounds enormous.
It does. There's debate, maybe 300 cubits, which is still hundreds of feet tall. The point is, they were unnaturally huge, powerful, with matching appetites.
Appetites that couldn't be satisfied.
Right. They consumed everything humans produced. Then, tragically, turned on humans themselves. Ate them.
Horrifying.
And it got worse. They sinned against animals, birds, fish, even turned on each other, totally disrupting the natural order, the food chain.
And they weren't just giant brutes. They had knowledge from their fathers.
Corrupted knowledge, yes.
Yeah.
Inherited from the fallen Watchers. They used it for evil, set themselves up as gods, demanded worship, sacrifice, poisoned the whole moral atmosphere.
Just total chaos. And this connects to Genesis 6.
Definitely. The source draws that parallel. Genesis says the earth was corrupt, filled with violence, all flesh had corrupted God's way. The Nephilim's influence was everywhere.
With all that suffering, surely someone cried out for help.
Oh, yes. The source says the blood of the innocent cried out from the ground itself. Not just metaphorically. The cries reached God's throne.
And the archangels, the good ones.
They heard it. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. They presented a formal case before God. Specific charges against Azel for teaching forbidden things, against Shemihaza for, well, everything he did. Cosmic treason.
And God's response, quick, specific.
Swift and decisive. The judgments weren't random, they were tailored consequences.
So what happened to Azel, the teacher of forbidden stuff?
Raphael was told to bind him hand and foot, cast him into total darkness in a desolate place, the desert of Doodle, covered with rocks, face veiled so he could never see light again. A direct reversal of him revealing secrets.
And the Nephilim, the giants.
Gabriel's job was to deal with them, the biters, to incite them against each other, basically, make them destroy themselves in battle, violence turning inward.
And Shemihaza, the leader, and the other watchers.
Michael was assigned to bind them, secure them in the valleys of the earth for 70 generations until the final judgment day.
Wow. But amidst all this judgment, was there any hope? Any salvation?
Yes, absolutely. Uriel was sent to Noah, warned him about the coming flood, the cleansing, told him how to build the ark, save a remnant.
Ah, Noah.
Yeah, so shows God's justice, but also his mercy, judgment for the wicked, preservation for the righteous. The flood was punishment, but also purification.
So it wasn't just about ending things. There was a plan for renewal.
Definitely. Even as judgment was decreed, Enoch saw visions of restoration after the flood. Ultimate redemption.
Like a planting of righteousness. What does that mean?
It means not just getting rid of evil, but actively establishing divine truth. Something new, growing forever. A complete transformation.
And the righteous survivors, what was their future like?
They'd escape, live long, peaceful lives, have many children. The vision was for the whole earth being righteous, fertile, abundant trees, vines, blessings, prosperity, and peace.
Like a return to Eden, almost, but bigger.
Kind of, yeah, but maybe even better. A restored relationship between God and humanity. Earth cleansed of all the bad stuff, oppression, sin, godlessness, everyone becoming righteous, worshiping God.
So the rebellion, the flood, they were terrible, but part of a bigger story leading to harmony.
That's the perspective, yes. A crisis within a much larger redemption narrative, ultimately leading to perfect harmony between heaven and earth.
And Enoch himself, his role grew even bigger through all this.
It did. Before these huge visions, he was kind of hidden, unknown. His interactions were with the Watchers, the Holy Ones. God was preparing him in secret.
And the fallen angels actually came to him.
Yeah, in desperation.
Yeah.
They knew he had this connection to God, and they were too ashamed to approach God directly. So they asked Enoch to write a petition for forgiveness for them.
Incredible. A human interceding for fallen angels. How did God react?
God told Enoch, nope, go tell them the judgment. Condemn them for defiling themselves, for acting like humans, for causing all this destruction.
So their plea was rejected flat out.
Absolutely. Enoch read their petition, then got a dream, another vision, confirming their punishment. The message was blunt. They should have been interceding for humans, not the other way around.
That really cemented Enoch's role, didn't it? As this bridge between worlds.
Totally. It has established him as the first human prophet, speaking God's exact words. A messenger carrying this testimony of justice and mercy through the crisis and through his writings to all future generations.
And then he saw even further, beyond the Watcher's judgment, towards the Messiah.
Yes, even more profound visions after that, unveiling the ultimate destiny, including the arrival of the Messiah, called the Son of Man in these texts.
3 parables the source mentioned. What did they reveal?
They laid out God's redemption plan, centering on this Son of Man, the chosen righteous one. He'd judge, reign forever, bring resurrection, an eternal kingdom of righteousness.
And Enoch got to see the preparations for this final judgment in heaven.
Yeah, transported there in spirit. Saw the solemn preparations, the throne of the Ancient of Days, God at the center, countless angels waiting, setting the stage to deal with all past wrongs.
And the Son of Man appeared there too.
Yes, another figure. Like a man, but eternal, full of grace. The angel guide identified him, the Son of Man, possessing righteousness, revealing hidden wisdom.
And he existed before creation.
That's what Enoch was shown. Named before the world began, chosen as judge and savior, bridging divine justice and human need.
The power associated with him must have been immense.
Unimaginable. Unrighteousness would just disappear before him, like a shadow.
And the resurrection, it wasn't for everyone.
Selective.
Yeah.
The righteous and holy, chosen by the Son of Man. Earth and Sheol would give them back.
And their resurrected bodies, different.
Completely transformed. No corruption, disease, death. Glorified bodies, perfect for eternal life.
What about the powerful people of the world? Kings, rulers, how did they react?
Terror. Absolute terror seeing the Son of Man revealed. Anguish at facing divine justice. Their power, wealth, meaningless. A total cosmic flip.
And the earth itself, finally cleansed for good.
Completely. Every trace of sin, defilement, punishment, gone forever. Righteousness and truth planted permanently, flourishing eternally.
And the righteous gathered together.
Yes, with the Lord of Spirits and the Son of Man abiding with them. An eternal community, no barriers, endless fellowship, joy. Clothed in glorious garments of life that never fade.
Leading to the Messiah's eternal kingdom, totally different from earthly kingdoms.
Exactly. Based on divine power, perfect justice. Characterized by righteousness, no more evil, perfect justice and mercy, guided by perfect wisdom, eternal peace.
And those in the kingdom would understand everything.
Yes, the Son of Man reveals all hidden wisdom, perfect understanding of God's plan, wisdom poured out like water, glory never failing, deepest longing satisfied.
So Enoch saw right to the end of this age. What signs did he see for those final days?
He did. Signs marking the end times. Shortened years, bad harvest, the earth itself disrupted, and crucially, the heavens out of whack. Sun, moon, stars deviating from their paths.
Cosmic order breaking down as a sign.
Exactly. Stars not appearing when they should. People getting confused, even starting to worship them. Physical consequences, but also spiritual confusion.
And chaos on earth, too. Not just in the sky.
Oh, yeah. Heaven seeming to collapse, huge earthquakes, mountains flattened, global upheaval.
And the weather going haywire.
Unprecedented storms, floods, droughts, messing up agriculture, making it hard for the earth to support life.
Followed by plagues, diseases.
Widespread sickness, new ailments, probably linked to the environmental chaos, bad air, bad water.
But even then, protection for the faithful.
That's the promise. The righteous wouldn't need to fear the wicked. God would deliver them.
And spiritually, what was humanity like?
A time of really deep spiritual darkness before the end. Good-looking evil, evil-looking good. People using religious words, but without real substance.
But a faithful few would remain.
A remnant, yeah. patient, seeking truth, not oppressing others, showing compassion.
And even religious leaders might lead people astray.
Sadly, yes. The source uses symbols, lambs and ravens, for corrupt leaders undermining faith with false teachings, denying core truths.
And more intense spiritual warfare.
Increased demonic activity, more freedom to influence people, deceptive signs and wonders to mislead.
Leading to more violence, more immorality.
Tragically, yes. Human behavior becoming baser.
But this darkness serves to reveal evil's true nature.
Exactly. It exposes its destructiveness and ultimately shows Satan's powerlessness against God.
And the faithful remnant, what do?
They cry out, desperate prayers from intense persecution, shouting the souls of the dead, pleading for justice, for God's promises to be fulfilled.
And the absolute climax.
The breaking open of the heavens. Literally, a visible tearing, everyone sees it, revealing God's glory, his throne room.
Which would cause very different reactions.
Pain and anguish for the wicked, seeing the Son of Man. Unspeakable joy for the righteous, seeing their Redeemer, the final end of the separation between heaven and earth.
And that leads straight into the final judgment.
Yes, the throne set up, the books opened. Every single person judged based on their life.
Perfect justice, no secrets.
Perfect justice, perfect knowledge, everyone gets what they deserve. An eternal, absolute separation of righteous and unrighteous.
But still room for mercy somehow.
Yes, even then. Surprising acts of faith, recognized, rewarded, showing the incredible depth of God's grace.
And after judgment, the new heaven and new earth.
The old passes away. A new heaven appears, brilliantly lit, 7 times brighter, a totally new creation, better than the original.
Where God and humanity finally live together.
Permanently. No more division between sacred and secular. Everything holy.
A perfect environment.
Tilled in righteousness, abundant blessings, incredibly beautiful and productive.
And perfect understanding for everyone there.
No more ignorance, no more mistakes, complete understanding of God's ways.
Eternal, unchanging, perfect fulfillment.
Yes. No decay, no disaster, no disappointment. The absolute completion of God's plans.
It's just an incredible scope. Enoch's journey from the heavens down to the new creation, it covers everything.
It really does. And like we said, you can see echoes today, can't you? The breakdown of order, the violence, the spiritual confusion. It feels like part of that ongoing cosmic battle he described.
But the core message isn't doom and gloom, is it? It's ultimately about hope.
Absolutely. Despite the darkness, the vision guarantees God's plan wins. The Son of Man returns, justice prevails, the faithful inherit this amazing eternal kingdom.
Which brings it right back to us, doesn't it? A very personal question. When the heavens do break open, will you be ready? Will you be among the righteous?
Enoch's message, after all this time, is really clear, really urgent. Choose now, repent today, get your life aligned with God's eternal purposes while there's still time.
So, if this deep dive into Enoch's incredible prophecies struck a chord with you, if it gave you something to think about, please share it. Let others explore this too. And of course, subscribe to the deep dive for more explorations like this one.
Because Enoch's vision isn't just ancient history, it's a window into your potential future. The destiny that waits for those who choose righteousness, choose faithfulness. Your eternal future hangs on the choices you make right now.